Don Bowen, Jim Besikowski, Hans Ottrin, and Paul Doherty. This is a 5-member board, and there'll be, and we have associate members so that in the event of any absence, somebody can fill in, but there's only 5 voting members. And Don says that he'll...
I'm volunteering to sit out and let others sit in.
Yeah. So the
I
voting...
feel like I'm in an angry mode today, and you can go.
Want me to leave now?
We'll start with Lisa reading the application and any other submitted documentation, any communications, and then the applicant will have the opportunity to speak to the submission, produce any additional documents and comments. Please come forward to the mic, because I said this is being broadcast. And while you're at the mic, board members will have the opportunity to ask questions regarding the application or comments on it. Usually, if there's a public present, there's an opportunity following that for the public comments. And again, we'd ask them to come forward. And then we'll bring it to the board for deliberation. And so with that, would you please, Lisa?
Okay, this is a application for, it's checked off other development plan review. The name and address of the applicant is Peter Kelly of 206 East Pembroke Road, Danbury, Connecticut. And the undersigned makes application as follows. Development plan review pursuant to section 4.14 of the zoning bylaws. The proposed action has not begun. The basis for this application is found in the following section of the Lunenburg zoning bylaw, section 4.14. The street address is 36 Summer Street in Lunenburg, assessors map 115, parcel 8. The name and address of each holder of legal title to the land, which is the subject of this case, is Peter M. Kelly, LLC, 36 Summer Street, Lunenburg, Mass. And the deed is recorded in Worcester Northern District, Registry of Deeds, Book 7171, page 353, and recorded May 7th, 2010. If the undersigned has any knowledge of a prior appeal, application, or petition concerning the land or building involved in this case, please describe the case and the dates involved. A special permit for dimensional variation was recorded in Book 8304, page 290, at the Registry of Deeds, and I believe that was in March of 2015. And the Hannigan Engineering has submitted this letter to Raymond E. Beal, Chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Dear Mr. Beal, on behalf of our client, Peter M. Kelly, as submitted under Section 8.4 of the Lunenburg Protective Bylaws, Hannigan Engineering Incorporated is submitting an application for development plan review for the construction of a 2-story addition to an existing commercial building at 36 Summer Street. The current building is utilized as an automotive dealership with automotive repair bays as allowed by special permit as previously issued by the town. The property is located within the commercial district and within the Summer Street Revitalization Overlay District. The proposed addition will match the depth of the existing building at 40 feet deep and will extend the length of the building by 52 feet. The addition will be located on the west side of the existing building and contain 2 stories. As the proposed addition is in excess of 2,500 square feet in a commercial district, the project requires development plan review under Section 8.4 from the Planning Board. The first floor will extend the existing use as an automotive dealership with automotive repair bays. The second floor will be utilized as a residential apartment as permitted within the Summer Street Overlay District, this making this a mixed-use development. Pursuant to Section 4.14 of the bylaws, the Zoning Board of Appeals is the permit-granting authority for mixed-use developments located within the Summer Street Revitalization Overlay District, when the underlying district is commercial. The mechanism for review follows the requirements of Section 8.4, Development Plan Review, with the exception that the project is reviewed by the ZBA. This submittal to the ZBA is intended for that purpose. We are providing the following review of the project intended to meet the environmental impact statement requirements of the Lunenburg Planning Board. The site is located on the southerly side of Summer Street with an existing 1,920 square foot single-story building occupying the premises. The existing building is utilized as an automobile dealership with automotive repair bays. The entrance to the site consists of asphalt pavement with surrounding areas within the front of the building being a regrind-based uses display area for the dealership. The remainder of the site consists brush, grass, and grass surrounding the building. The proposed site conditions will be improved with the transformation of regrind areas to pavement and the addition of landscaping surrounding the perimeter parking areas. The driveway entrance will remain, and the parking on-site will be provided in a more orderly manner than currently exists. Parking for the businesses is provided along the eastern side of the entrance. Display area for vehicles is depicted as parking boxes on the plan, but this is not meant to be entirely specific to how the cars should be laid out on the site. The parking for the apartment use will be separated from the dealership display area and from the customer parking. The remainder of the site will remain as existing with new landscape areas along the front of the property. These are intended to promote compliance with the landscape provision of the bylaws. As stated above, the proposed construction will be for a two-story building with a footprint of 52 feet by 40 feet located on the western side of the existing building. The addition will consist of 2 additional garage bays on ground floor and a residential apartment on the second floor. Internal access will be provided to the apartment along with a secondary access from the second floor apartment via an external stairwell at the rear of the building. With respect to the businesses, the applicant is proposing that each of the individual bays, or a combination of bays, could be rented out to separate tenants. It is our understanding that each of these tenants may need to secure operational permits for their specific businesses separate from this application. This use, however, would now become by right as it would be part of the mixed-use development for the project. Recently, a special permit was granted to Mr. Kelly allowing for the construction of an addition on the easterly side of the existing building. The special permit was to allow the building to be constructed with a reduction in the setback to approximately 5 feet. After the special permit was issued, this office reviewed the layout and found that the more centralized location of the bays works better for the site with respect to access and maneuverability. The development plan review is still required, but the approved special permit is no longer being utilized. As the proposed use of the building is consistent with the existing use, no adverse impacts are anticipated to abutters or the environment. Any noise generated from the operations at the site would not have an impact on the surrounding residential community, since the distance to residential uses is greater than 300 feet to the west and across Summer Street and other commercial activities to the northeast. Impacts to surface waters and groundwater are restricted by the operation requirements of facilities of this type. Regulations regarding the handling, storage, and disposal of oils and hazardous materials are in place to ensure these items have no effect on these resources. With respect to traffic, the current use, as stated above for this site, is used as an automobile dealership with bays for automotive repair. Although additional bays are being added, it is not anticipated that this would have a significant impact on traffic. The additional of a single residential unit is not anticipated to have any impact. With respect to utilities, the existing building utilizes public water and sewer lines located within Summer Street. This is anticipated to continue with some modifications on site to accommodate the construction. It is not expected that the new addition would have any significant impact on the existing infrastructure, including drainage. Waste removal will be provided by a dumpster located on the eastern side of the parking lot and will have regular pickups. With respect to neighborhood and community, it is not anticipated that the project would have any impact on the neighborhood or the community itself. The project is not located near any schools, and its uses are consistent with the area. No significant increases in police or fire department presence are anticipated. With respect to character of the neighborhood, attached building elevations are provided for your review, and the proposed building would be consistent with the nearby residential area to the west and an improvement to the more commercialized buildings to the north and east. As such, the structures would not have a negative effect on the neighborhood or community. At this time, Hannigan Engineering Incorporated is submitting this application and accompanying documents for your review and consideration. It is the intention of this letter to provide sufficient information as outlined in the requirements for development impact statements. A representative of this office will attend the meeting where the project will be reviewed to discuss the project and address any concerns the board may have at that time. We look forward to your continued cooperation regarding this project. Sincerely, Hannigan Engineering, Christopher M. Anderson, Project Engineer, William Hannigan, President. There is a rendering of the building showing the front elevations, front and rear elevation, and the left elevation, as well as a site plan and a site development plan. In addition, I did receive a memo from the Lunenburg Conservation Commission that I will read. And this is from Matthew Morrow, the agent for the Lunenburg Conservation Commission. It is my understanding that Peter M. Kelly is proposing an expansion of an existing facility. The proposal forwarded to the Honorable ZBA will require the filing of a notice of intent with the Conservation Commission. It is necessary as the proposed work would alter the 10-year floodplain. Please feel free to call me if you have any further questions, and that's signed Matt Morrow. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Would the applicant or engineer like to speak to this application, or not necessary, you can choose to let it stand?
Yep, I can give a quick little rundown of the project as a whole and answer any questions you guys might have.
Please give us your name.
Sorry. Christopher Anderson with Hannigan Engineering on behalf of Mr. Peter Kelly.
Thank you.
So the plan up.
Microphone. Microphone.
Okay. As stated earlier, we are proposing a building in addition to the existing building located at 36 Summer Street. As stated previously, the building addition will be approximately 40 by 52 square feet, located to the west of the existing building. Previously, it was anticipated that it would be on the eastern side of it. Since then, we've relocated it and will no longer need that 5-foot setback restriction anymore. We figured this is a much more efficient way of using the site and eliminates any work that would be needed to happen within the floodplain. As stated earlier, existing water and sewer will be handled as with the current utilities that are on site, so we're not anticipating any significant changes in that. The parking will be located in the northwestern corner to be used as a display for the proposed automotive dealership, with additional parking located along the western side for the upstairs apartment. Access to the apartment will be brought through the actual proposed building in the inside, along with a secondary entrance along the rear of the building. That's the pretty much the rundown of the general site. If there's any questions, I can definitely answer them for you.
Okay. The members have any questions?
I've got a few, Mr. Chairman. Just a little different that I think I've seen before. You're citing section .14. I don't have a section .14 in my book. Can somebody clarify that for me?
Yes, 414, the Summer Street Revitalization Overlay District.
Is that something new? It's not in my book. I don't know if that's a different 4.14?
4.14.
Yeah, I stop at 4.13 and then I pick up at 4.15, so I don't have that section in my book.
I'll have it.
Oh, okay. So, are you relinquishing the special permit that we already granted for the apartment in the commercial district?
Just in regards to the 5-foot setback.
So you could, is that the apartment that we approved, the same dimensions
Yes.
as, so I don't really, and I don't see, it's kind of, with your plans here, it doesn't really, at least to my mind, clarify, and I was looking at your drawings here. So this is what we already approved as far as the apartment goes?
Yes.
And this is definitely the new proposal for the 2 bays here at a lower elevation of a roof line?
The building, the lighter color building is the existing building, with the actual rendering being the proposed building. The building plans that you guys have in front of you were the original submission, with it being on the eastern side of the site. Since then, it's being mirrored, and it's going to be on the on the other side of the building, or existing building. But it'll have the same dimensions, same everything. It's just mirrored onto the other side of the existing building.
All right, and it mentioned about 2 entrances and egresses. Is one that we already approved, and is there now going to be another one?
There's 2, there should be one inside the building that has
That'll
access.
stay, that's what I believe I remember.
Yep, and then we'll also have a secondary access through the rear of the proposed building.
Okay, so it'll be 2 separate ones? All right, that was just my confusion, because I didn't have that section in my book. And I'm like, okay, what's going on, so. All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Welcome. Anybody else with any questions?
That was my question about this diagram, and I thought it was, from what you said and looking at the other things, that it was reversed, east, west, south. Otherwise, it's identical.
What you, Al?
Okay. No, I looked at, this really is just a review of the last hearing, the difference being that you changed it from the east side to the westerly side. Everything seems to be pretty much as it was.
Yes.
And in the revitalization overlay district, of course, the mixed use in a building is permitted, and in fact, one of the objectives of that zone. So I just want to, a few things. Those bays, you say that they're going to be, those are leased out? The different, potentially?
The new ones?
Yes.
That's what I'm planning on doing. Actually, I'm gonna keep the far right one for ourselves, because that, one of the egresses will be in there. So the left bay, potentially rental, yes.
Okay. And there's 2 of them?
New
2
ones-
bays?
New ones, yeah.
New ones, yeah. Okay.
Peter, you have to come to the mic, please, when you're answering questions. Thank you.
Yeah, potentially, the far right bay would be for ourselves, where it has the egress from the apartment inside. And then the left one of the 2 new ones, we would potentially rent out.
Right, okay. And the apartment above, that's a single apartment,
Yes.
as I recall?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. And I think we went through the whole
think so.
layout and all of that.
Yes, I believe so, yep.
Yeah, okay. Let's see if I had anything else. No, I really don't think I have much else, because I do think that we covered most everything at that other permit
Sure.
One of
granting.
the things that struck me, correct me if I'm wrong, but by shifting that from the easterly side to the westerly side, it conforms with all the required setbacks
Yes.
with the overlay district, correct?
Yeah.
So,
I know a lot of questions that I had before were on that, and I asked
Yeah.
specifically
I do remember,
why
yes.
you didn't put it on the other side.
Right, here we are now.
foresight, Jim. Do you have any questions?
No,
No?
they've done a good job in complying with the information necessary to review the development plan review.
Yes,
So,
definitely, yep.
Seems to me you've covered most of the issues.
Yes,
I guess I have to say that, you know, from my perspective, the wording of the permit granting authority is somewhat ambiguous in here, which is probably why Hannigan suggested that you come before us, because it describes the ZBA as having review authority, but it also calls out that it requires a development plan review, which is the purview of the planning board. So you've already met with them or are going to meet with them, so.
we met with them on Monday.
Yeah, so they're the approving authority, so
Yeah.
it's frankly a little unclear to me is what the review authority is, so, because we're not granting, you're not here for a special permit from the ZBA.
Right.
And so, from my perspective, I think that what we need to be concerned with is the required findings, which goes with, mostly with any special permit, but they seem to have be addressed in the write-up from Hannigan, from my perspective, so I don't have any questions about that, unless somebody else does.
No, but just to amplify what you had said, this is the first time I've seen this too, was an applicant's out here looking for a special permit.
Yeah.
Something,
So
we
it's-
just going over something
Yeah.
we already went over again.
But there is, the way it's written, there is
Right.
certainly ambiguous,
Right.
because two boards can't have the same responsibility.
Exactly, yeah.
So I think that from my perspective, our focus should be on the required findings, if it were a special permit, which I think have been addressed. One is that will not be injurious or dangerous to the public health or unduly hazardous because of traffic flow, congestion, danger of fire, explosion, or other reasons. I see no issue with that. Does any member have any? Will not have a material adverse effect on the value of the land, the buildings in the neighborhood, or amenities of the neighborhood. It seems to fall well within the scope of the intent of this overlay district, from my perspective. Will be operated with reasonable regard for order and sightliness. Yeah, I think that was all discussed the last time around, and nothing's really changed.
Could I ask one thing, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
I'm assuming that the last time when they talked about the addition in garages, the Board of Health must have put a condition on that the drains couldn't be connected to the sewer line. He's adding additional bays. I assume that must also carry on to those new units, whether that, I don't see
I would
anything
assume so, but
specifically here too.
a blanket statement at the end of this is that it has to conform with all other municipal boards, any board having any authority over it, so. Not gonna produce any noise, vibration, smoke, dust, odor, heat, or glare observable to lot lines in amounts clearly detrimental to normal use adjacent properties.
It's 300 feet away to the nearest.
So, I guess that, from my perspective, if, what I'd look for is a motion that we have reviewed the application and see no concerns.
I'll make a motion. We have reviewed the application, have no concerns.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Wish you well.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck.
Appreciate your time.
Again.
Yes.
Again, I do have some closing remarks, and the most important one is that with this review, we approve it with the contingency that you comply with all licenses, regulations, statutes, ordinances of any and all applicable local, state, and federal boards or agencies with jurisdiction over the premises. That's the cover statement that I alluded to earlier. That's the most important part to remember, and I'm sure that you're aware of it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So,
Yep.
I guess I was a little surprised with the comment from the Conservation Commission. I thought that the write-up from Hannigan had addressed that floodplain issue concern, but, so I'm sure that you'll have some discussions about that.
Yes, definitely. Yep.
So, with that,
One last
all the
question,
best.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I would.
Sure.
Did your wife get another promotion? I see you're in Connecticut now.
Yeah, she did. She gets the promotions and I just travel along. That's it. That's pretty much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thanks.
Good luck.
Thank you.
There is one other piece of business for the board. It's not a hearing, but is everybody aware of that or not?
Yes. The driveway issue on 233 Lancaster Avenue.
Yeah, okay.
This is a matter that, this was a letter from the Brackett and Lucas attorneys regarding the Colvin versus the town of Lunenburg, that driveway at 233, was it?
Yes.
And I kind of lost track of it, but apparently he didn't do anything with it, but he had appealed to land court. And our decision was overturned with that. Just I'll quickly read this for you. Close a copy of the land court's order allowing a motion for partial summary judgment in order of remand. Judge Lombardi has ruled that the building inspector does not have the authority under Lunenburg protective bylaw to deny an application for the driveway permit. Therefore, the court is remanding the matter of Mr. Colvin's driveway permit application to the Zoning Board of Appeals with instructions to refer the matter to the building inspector, who will consult with the DPW director and issue the permit with appropriate conditions. This is dated March 27th, 2008. So there's something that kind of slipped through the cracks because he had done nothing with that case other than appeal, and I don't know what happened to it, but it never came to the board's attention. So to rectify that, we've been directed to, as it said in that letter, to refer the matter to the building inspector, and by making the motion just to put it on record. And I'll make the motion and ask for a second. The motion that pursuant to the land court's order to remand dated March 20th, 2008, Zoning Board of Appeals refer to the building inspector the matter of Ronald Colvin's application for a driveway permit for 233 Lancaster Avenue.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. And all in favor? Aye.
Oh, I'm not speaking on this one.
No.
You may speak on it.
Yeah, I could say aye, but I'm the extra man.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, just a letter to the building inspector saying that the board unanimously voted to remand the...
Yes.
Okay.
I was gonna vote no, just because I don't like to judge over
I wouldn't advise it.
What did he ask?
Any other business?
No other business.
I'll make the motion that we adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 We are adjourned.